guys, welcome to the Audi SQ2, a compact SUV that can do this. Oh man, that's confusing in itself, because this thing is quick, and it's quick, but it doesn't look like it should be quick, if that makes sense. Now, what is this car, I guess, is the question that you're asking, first of all. Now, this is Audi's take on the compact SUV market. So this is what they're doing to try and fill that gap where compact SUVs are now becoming more and more popular. They're almost a little bit of a fashion accessory, I would say, for people that want a car that does everything but don't necessarily want to go for something as large as the Audi Q8, which is, let's face it, it's a monster, it's massive. But this, however, is much smaller, it's much more compact. And what I get from this car is I get a 2-litre turbocharged engine that runs 300 horsepower and delivers a 0 to 60 time, wait for it, in 4.8 seconds. That's ridiculous. That is so quick for a compact SUV, 4.8 seconds. That's mad. I mean, the thing doesn't look like it would do 0 to 60 in 4.8 seconds. The only real giveaways are the red calipers and the big, well, the 4 exhausts out the back that again scream, I'm fast, I'm fast. But other than that, there isn't that much of a giveaway. Now, in fact, I'll show you what I mean, how quick this is. If I drop it into sport and I do a traction control off, because on top of that, this flipping thing has launch control. I mean, that's rapid. And the thing is, you can hear that noise and it sounds familiar because it's the same noise that you'll get from the Golf R, the Cupra, the S3, because it's pretty much, well, it is the same engine. It's a 2-litre turbo engine that you find in those cars. Now, again, whether or not the end user of this car, the person buying this car, will be launch controlling their way off the lights with a whole load of shopping in the boot and a car full of kids and the missus on the left, or not necessarily the missus, husband on the left, however you want to call it, you're not going to be driving it like this all the time, are you? But I know the person that will. It'll be the dad or the wife who has petrol running through their veins. They want to go for a blast, and they can. And that's the beauty with this car. Right, let's slow it down a little bit, because the handling is great. You know, I think it disguises the fact that it's a relatively tall SUV really well. I've got a really high seating position here as well, which I think is quite good. You know, I've got nice visibility of everything that's going on around me in this car. As part of the 2-litre turbocharged engine, what else is linked and connected to it? Well, we've got a 7-speed DSG gearbox. Sorry, not DSG, S-tronic gearbox, which for me I think is great. I think it's a brilliant gearbox. However, for me there are a couple of criticisms of this box, or maybe just specifically this car when it comes to its transmission. Is that if you are in comfort mode and in drive, so you're as far away from sport as you possibly can, and you really just wanted to then push the button and go for it, it does feel a little bit sluggish, if I'm being honest with you. However, if I'm in sport and I decide to do the same, it responds very quickly and it fires through the gears very, very quickly. And I think that's kind of the Jekyll and Hyde concept that you get from these kind of platform when it comes to cars, in the sense that they do everything for you. You can slap it left and right into manual and control it via the paddles here if that's something that you're into. But again, it's also a very easy car to drive. It's not big enough for you to kind of crap your pants in the sense of, oh my god, I'm driving an SUV. Everyone hates me, and you know, I can't get through the width restrictors, and parking's a nightmare. No, I think quite the opposite actually. In fact, driving this is a pleasure. And I've dailied this car for near enough 2 weeks, and I've used it for everything, and I really, really like it. I think visually for me, its best angle is from the side. I think the side view for me is where this car looks at its best. I think particularly in this color, the quantum gray, it's not the prettiest car in the world, let's be honest, but it's okay, you know, I think it's quite nice. I'm not so sure about the rear. The rear looks like it's a bit squashed, if that makes sense. Like, it just feels like it's been compressed in, and it's, yeah, the rear doesn't necessarily do it for me. Now, this also specifically looks relatively nice because it's had the SQ2 pack, exterior design pack, which consists of the larger wheels, so you've got like the 19-inch wheels, I believe. You have all the chrome has been de-chromed, which I think is a must. I just, for me, chrome, I don't know, there's a few people trying to bring chrome back, but I just don't like it personally. I think if there's an opportunity for you to de-chrome, you do it. You get rid of the chrome, you don't need it. But this also has the old school style Quattro stickers. And I think they're a bit Marmite personally. You either love them or you hate them. I quite like them. I think they look really cool on this car. And I think they contrast well against the quantum grey. But I think that's why this car looks better than, say, a standard Q2, for example. If you don't go for that pack, I think you'll be left feeling like your car is very quick, but it just doesn't look like it should. I mean, even now it's pushing it because of what it is. So I think you are definitely in need of the SQ2 exterior styling pack. From an inside perspective, obviously we've got what Audi do very, very well in the form of the virtual cockpit. We've got the additional screen here for the nav. I'm personally not really the fan of the kind of standalone screen that pops up. I like what they've done in the new cars now with the sense of, like the Audi A1, where it's integrated into the dash. Same with the e-tron. I think that looks much better personally, but I can live with that. It's not a problem. It's a great screen. It's, you know, I think it's OLED. I'm not certain. Don't quote me on that. I think it's a great screen, but the virtual cockpit, as with all of these new models, Audis, it's just superb. It feels very familiar. See that? It just gripped and it just went. And you can really feel that 4.8 to 60. I think the 4.8 is off the launch. But again, so interior wise, so on this car we've got some really nice kind of ambient lighting here. I really like this, and I didn't realize it was ambient lighting until I went to take this out one evening in the dark. And then I realized it was ambient lighting, but that looks really nice. You've also got the same on either side here of the kind of center console. I think the steering wheel is lovely. It's the S-Line flat bottom steering wheel. You can't go wrong with that steering wheel. Paddles feel a little bit crappy. I think they're just very flimsy and plasticky. Inside wise, again, the inside's nice. I think there's a couple of little cheapo plastics in here. The seats are really nice. They're this really nice kind of the Napa leather S-Line seats. They are very comfortable, and they kind of complement the kind of ride height and the view I have. So I'm in a really good position here. The seating position is great. What else? Boot space. Boot space is a winner on this car, and also because you've got the foldable rear seats, actually what this can transform into is a really, really big boot. So you kind of have the best of both, I guess. So if you have the kids in the back or you've got a fully loaded car, I think you've still got a very reasonable sized boot behind you to store whatever it is that you want, which is pretty much what you really want if you're buying a car like this. Because if boot space isn't an issue, well, you'd buy the R8, wouldn't you? And it's quick. And again, I think for the outside world, seeing this kind of battle bus flying around, making these kind of noises, but looking the way it does, I think will confuse people. I think it will. They'll be like, how is it doing that? But I guess that's the cool thing, and that's what I like about what Audi are doing, in the sense that they don't really care. They're challenging the status quo. This does have the adaptive cruise control with the whole Audi pre-sense thing, which is good. I think most cars now come with adaptive, particularly within this group of cars. But what it also means is that it does the braking for you as well, which I think is wicked. I love that, particularly if you're in traffic and you want to you know, just set your speed, let the car do the rest. And it does a really good job at it. There have been a couple of occasions where I think it's let me down a little bit, or at least has, you know, made me really kind of throwing myself back to, oh, is it going to stop? Is it going to stop? Or the flip side is if a car pulls out of my lane in slow moving traffic, the car will accelerate quickly to the speed, which as a driver feels kind of a little bit alien, because you're like, oh, I wouldn't have accelerated that quick. Why is it doing that? But I think as time goes on, as these technological systems evolve, I think we're going to see a lot more coming from what we're seeing now technology-wise. But I think in summary, what are my thoughts on this car? Well, like I said, I've dailied it for a week. Let me take out dynamic for a sec. There you go. In fact, actually, no, there is another thing. Sorry, I have to mention this. One of my gripes with this is the different driving options. So you've got dynamic, efficiency, comfort, individual, and auto, which is fine, and I think it's a great range of driving options for this car. In fact, there's a driving option for every person or every scenario on the road. My only gripe with it is the button to select drive select is the furthest button away from the driver. And it's almost like I've got to reach into next week to change it, which is a little bit, and it distracts you as a driver as well, because you kind of look in there, clicking the button, you take your focus off the road. Whereas what I would love to see is a button here on the steering wheel, particularly if it's like an SQ2 or an S model, I guess similar to what the R8 has, in the sense that it's got it on the steering wheel. I think that would make a huge difference. I think one, for safety, because the driver's constantly looking forward and you'll see it in the middle of your dash there rather than being distracted looking here. But I mean, look, if I'm griping about little things like that, there's clearly nothing really wrong with this car, and it's clearly a decent car. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I hope you found it useful. If you have, please make sure to like, share and subscribe. And of course, I'll see you all very soon on the next one. Thanks for watching.